Hello everyone, and welcome to Dream Team. I'm Alice Langlois.
And I'm Trent Lenkarski.
We're back for another cozy, sleepy episode. I'm already in my pajamas. I don't know about you.
Not yet, but I'm about to be.
Yeah, it's one of those nights. I am sleepy as heck.
It's a freaking sleepy night. We're here on episode 22.
Yeah. In season 2 of Dream Team.
Yes.
The thrilling sequel to season 1.
Yeah. Second year.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year so far. I feel like it's been really busy for me, and
yeah, me too.
I have been actually noticing my dreams a lot more because I think I've been having a lot just going on in my life, so I think my brain has been really active at night.
I feel that too. I've had a lot of little short ones that I would dream and then like immediately forget.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've had a couple of those this past week, but yeah.
Are there any that you want to share with us?
From this last week, not really. Nothing really that I remember, but I do have one from last week though. If you want me to read that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I think I told you about this one. This one's a little spooky. A bit of a nightmare.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's good that you brought that up. I think my dream is also a little spooky. Not in a scary way, but in a way that is maybe, honestly, it might just be spooky to me, but I'll say just in case that this episode might get a little spooky unintentionally.
Ooh.
But we're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it cozy. We won't let the monsters under your bed get you. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, there's no monsters under your bed, just like old clothes and stuff.
Mhm.
I was never scared of monsters under my bed because I just had a bunch of like boxes of Legos and stuff under my bed.
Oh yeah, I think I was scared of them being in my closet, but not under my bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was more scared of the closet.
Closets? Don't like those.
But there aren't any monsters in your closet if you're listening.
No, yeah.
No.
Sorry, I forgot to say.
Yeah.
Closets, also good, full of clothes. Don't worry about it.
Full of clothes, yeah.
But despite all that, we have some spooky dreams to share with you.
Yeah. So this is one I had last week. It was in my typical dream fashion. It was very short, just kind of like a short clip, but it's got a lot of stuff that I can kind of describe. The only thing the only way I can really describe it is it was almost like it was first person, but it was almost like I was in like a survival horror like video game or a movie or a show or something. And it was just this scene where it was like me and like a couple other people, and we went up this escalator. We were in like a mall, but it was like nighttime and dark, and we just had like flashlights and stuff just to paint the scene. So it's pretty dark and spooky. And we would walked up this this broken escalator, and the only other thing that I remember, which is why it was spooky, is there was, as soon as we got to the top, there was like a bunch of like kind of human voices like crying out for help. And I don't remember if it was just one or if it was like kind of a group of them, but it was like there was something in my head that was like, oh, these aren't humans. Like it was like voices like something mimicking like human voices, like trying to lure us down to like help it, and we're like, we're not going down there.
Scary. That's so scary.
Yeah, it was really freaky.
Don't like that.
But yeah, I don't remember if it was saying anything. That's what I'm like. I struggled to remember when I woke up. Is like I don't remember if it was like a bunch of voices or if it was just one, and I don't know which is scarier. The thought of like a group of things or like one creature doing multiple voices at once or something. But yeah, it was pretty spooky.
Yeah, I was gonna say either way, that is terrifying.
Yeah. That's really all I have. I don't think we went downstairs. I think I just kind of woke up after it, but that is my spooky dream I had.
That is chilling, and I think we might have...
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Um, I think we might have spoken about this earlier off the air, but it reminded me of both my dream that I read a long time ago about my partner not being real, and then also Ruby's dream from last week where our brother Henry was also not quite right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a whimsical thought, but I like the idea of like a like universally recurrent dream creature that isn't necessarily tied down to one person's dream space, that's job is to like mimic something that the dreamer is familiar with and then like trick them. And it's interesting because it's like the other thing that is strikingly similar between your dream, my dream, and Ruby's dream is that none of us ever got to find out what happened.
Yeah.
Your dream ended without you going down.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby's dream ended before she even looked up to see Henry's face.
Mm-hmm.
And while I did see my partner turn into this sort of mimic creature, I woke up before he reached me.
Yeah.
So there is this like kind of strange mystery around these weird mimics. Yeah. And I find it interesting also that like Ruby and I both saw people that we were like, that's not them. Or like, that's weird, but you didn't even see. You just heard the voices, and that's somehow that's scarier to me, that you heard the voices and you just knew that's not real.
Yeah.
That's very scary.
Yeah, it's like a dream. It's like a dream skinwalker or something.
A dreamwalker.
A dreamwalker, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. Do you also you said you also have a spooky one, a somewhat spooky one?
Yeah, I would say my scary dream is maybe just scary to me, but I don't know. I'm not going to invalidate myself and my possibly irrational fears. I was actually just trying to go back. I couldn't find the post. I couldn't figure out exactly what episodes, but this is actually I've decided part of a continuing narrative in my dream space. Part 3 in an apparently ongoing saga of mushroom apocalypse dreams that I keep having.
Whoa. Heck yeah.
I've told stories about these dreams before. I've had multiple people tell me to watch The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I have not watched The Last of Us. I will not watch The Last of Us.
What? No, you have to.
I am already living, apparently, that narrative in my own dream space while I'm sleeping, and I'm not that interested in feeding into that by watching stuff about it.
You should watch it.
I'm not going to.
It's so good. I
don't want to play the game either. It's already apparently going on in my brain. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find the exact dates, but I know like earlier on in the podcast I told a dream about how I had made a mushroom spore print in real life, and then I had a dream that the spore print grew into mushrooms and started growing like into my apartment, and that was for some reason so scary to me that I woke up feeling very sick. And then maybe 1 or 2 months ago I read a dream on the podcast, I think that I had in like December, that was quite similar, where I noticed some plants growing in my room, and upon examining them closer, found that they were sort of rotting away and becoming mushrooms and molds and other fungi, which was also very scary to me. And this third dream, it's almost like a next stage of those first two, like a different chapter. The first two followed the same sort of narrative, where like it's completely localized to my bedroom. Mm-hmm. This like strange apocalyptic fungi phenomena. But in this dream, which I had maybe a week or two ago, I was walking outside in an unfamiliar area. It was like just like open kind of like meadows and trees, and I had the vague sense that I was near a town where I lived in, but I couldn't see any buildings from where I was. And I just remember walking through grass and approaching this giant sort of faintly glowing force field. It was transparent enough that you could see through the other side, but it had sort of a faint kind of greenish cast to it that you could tell there was some sort of force field being projected upward into the sky, and it was containing these gigantic, like, skyscraper-sized mushrooms.
Whoa.
Like, taller than trees, like, huge mushrooms. And the force field was just about as tall as they were, and they were sort of like, I remember they were kind of reddish-brown in color. They didn't look particularly scary or odd, they just looked like, you know, generally friendly-looking mushroom. Not like some creepy slime mold type fungus, but they were
giant
huge.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, and the force field was sort of blocking them off from this like fairly normal, innocuous like meadow area that I was walking around in. And I the dream was very short. I just remember walking in this meadow and sort of like skirting along the border of this force field and like looking up at the mushrooms and just having this general sense of unease and kind of knowing that the force field was there to prevent them from taking over more land. Like they were actively growing and consuming the world, and they had been sort of contained within this force field. And as I was walking around the border, I just like looked up and saw this like single like fluffy white spore shoot up over the edge of the force field and then like slowly float down the wall on the other side into the meadow by my feet. And I remember just thinking like, oh shit. And then I woke up.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was like ugh. Like not like scary something jumping out at you, but like impending doom.
Yeah.
And like, Trent, why do I keep having these mushroom dreams? Like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
Like, I promise I am not that scared of mushrooms. I think they're so cool and like awesome, and whenever I see one outside, I'm like kneeling on the ground taking a picture, like trying to identify the species. Like, they're awesome, but like in my dreams they're so scary. Like it's like the first two dreams that I had were like the ground zero, you know, like the start of the mushroom apocalypse in my bedroom or something. And then this dream was like, okay, it has escaped my room and started taking over the world. Humanity has contained it in a magical force field, and society is trying to, you know, exist with this like apocalypse that we're fighting. I don't know what's next. Post-apocalypse?
I don't know. I guess so.
Like a Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind type, like
Last of
navigating.
Us.
Yeah. No.
Maybe you have to watch The Last of Us to stop having the dreams.
Is it like when you have a song stuck in your head and you have to listen to the song to make it stop?
Yeah. Or if you're scared of spiders and you have to like touch a spider.
I don't want to watch The Last of Us.
Maybe you should eat more food with mushrooms in it.
I would try that.
Or stir fries.
I like a stir fry. Alright, I'll think about that. And I will report back if I have part 4.
Heck yeah.
Maybe I'll have a dream where we figure out how to stop the mushroom apocalypse and everything is happy and normal.
Yeah. It seems like the plot of a movie. All of these
Yeah,
dreams you've had
I'm
about
just having
mushrooms.
it. I'm having it in parts, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, send in your predictions now for what Alice's next mushroom dream will be. Will it be the good ending or the bad ending? Or the secret ending where we all become mushroom people by symbiotically bonding with mushroom DNA.
Maybe it doesn't affect humans, and it's just like it just kind of changes the ecosystem.
And like, this is just how we live
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I kind of don't want to have any more mushroom dreams, but at this rate, you know, I accept my fate. Anyway, that's my mushroom dream.
Heck yeah. I'm sorry you keep having them.
It's alright. This one honestly wasn't as scary because it wasn't like, I don't know, it was creepy, but they weren't like up in my personal biz, which I felt like was far scarier.
Yeah.
It was just sort of this thing that I was observing.
Them taking over your house is kind of scary.
I think, I don't know, it's like, if I, like, saw, I don't know, like a tarantula or something out in the wild, like if I was in a place in the world where tarantulas live, in like, I don't know where they live, jungles or something, and I saw one like on a walk while I was like exploring, I'd be like, that's really cool, tarantula. If I was in my home and there was just a tarantula and I didn't know how it got there, I would really be scared.
Me too.
So I think it was kind of like that, where it's just like, even though like the mushrooms were this like unnatural force that I knew was bad, it was outside in a contained way. I mean, of course, up until the last part of the dream, but it was sort of like, you know, I felt uneasy. Like, you know, if you've ever been in a zoo and there's like, you know, a gorilla or a lion or something and it's just behind a pane of glass, and it's like, this is really cool that I'm looking at you right now, but this is also just glass.
Yeah.
Especially if the glass already has cracks in it and you're like,
Oh, that's scary.
you know, like, it was kind of like that, where I was just like, you know, this is a really otherworldly and amazing sight, and I feel uneasy because I know that this is part of some kind of harmful force in the world, but it's behind this thing and I'm outside and it's like I could get away fairly easily. I'm in this open area. But the ones where it was in my room, it was like, I don't know where else to go. This is my room. This is the place that's supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
And it was just far more like, when I woke up, I was far more like, ah, like really freaked out. We'll see what the next one is. Hey, I have a dream fact for you.
Whoa. What is it?
It's actually, it's not really just one dream fact. It's just sort of like a phenomena, I guess.
Okay.
I went down like a very brief rabbit hole about dreaming and smells.
Oh.
It was actually, I think I just like stumbled across an article while I was trying to research something else for a different dream fact, and the article was about like whether or not smells affect your dreams, and I was like, I had never really even thought of that. So this is sort of a combination of trying to answer two questions. One is, do smells in real life affect your dreams while you're sleeping? And then also, can people smell in their dreams? And I don't know, have you ever smelled anything in a dream? Like, remembered having a dream where you had like experienced smelling something? I feel like it would be it's kind of hard to think of.
Yeah, I don't know. Not that I can remember, no.
I couldn't tell you for sure either on my end. I feel like I would not say I've never smelled anything in a dream, because I know like I have certainly had dreams where I've experienced more than just seeing or hearing. Like I've experienced dreams where like I can feel warm sunlight on my skin, or I can feel cold water, or I can touch a texture that's rough or smooth or wet or dry. And I've had dreams where I can taste things. I think I've mentioned in a few episodes. But, and I mean, I guess taste and smell are related. So like maybe in the dreams where I've tasted things, like that kind of counts. But yeah, I was reading these articles and thinking, like, is there any dream where I like wrote down, like, I remember this smelled like this, but I couldn't think of any. But anyway, there was, I guess, like the earliest study that I was able to find was in 1893 at Wellesley College, which, shout out Massachusetts, by a woman named Mary Whiten. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. It was only done with 2 volunteers, as far as I could find, and she basically, for the study, just like had 2 people keep dream diaries for a while, and then just sort of like read their dream diaries, which I guess counts as a study. I don't know. And she basically, like, I think she had made several conclusions in the study. I don't know if it was specifically about smell, but it was noted that, like, she wrote down that she noticed that smells, like noticing a smell in your dream, occurred in like 15% of the dreams that she read. This isn't really related to anything. It was just like an early example of people like wondering if you can smell in your dreams, or if smells and dreams have any kind of relationship. And then like nothing really was written about or studied in this area for like 100 years. And then kind of related, but with a different purpose, I found this study cited in like a bunch of different articles. There was like a US News article, Brain World, Psychology Today.
Brain
like,
World.
Yeah, Brain World.
Brain World.
They all cited this.
We're going on vacation there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going on vacation there.
I love Brain World. I used to go there all the time as a kid with my family.
I love the neuron roller coaster.
And the
amygdala
synapse
spinning ride.
Synapse.
Amygdala.
It's a all right.
Sorry.
We're in the jokes today, everybody. But yeah, it was cited in a lot of the articles that I read, which is funny because it's like not a very big study, and also the conclusions it came to are like kind of disputed. But I think it just goes to show that like this is not a very well studied area of dream science, and I don't know, I found it kind of interesting that it's funny because like it seemed like a lot of people were eager to write about it. So I don't know, maybe if you're a dream scientist and you're listening to this, like we should be apparently doing more studies on smells and dreams, because it seems like a lot of people are curious about it. But it was done with 15 German women, and during the study, while these participants were sleeping, different chemicals would be like released in the rooms they were sleeping in, to see if it affected how they related the positivity or negativity of their dreams when they woke up. And one test was done with hydrogen sulfide, which is the smell of rotten eggs, basically. And then one was done with phenylethyl alcohol, which is supposed to smell kind of like roses. And according to this study, the rotten egg smell resulted in their dreams being more negative, and the rosy smell resulted in the dreams being rated more positive. And the interesting thing is, when the participants woke up, they didn't remember smelling anything. Like they didn't actually, like they didn't dream about smelling anything, and they didn't wake up being like, oh, I smell rotten eggs or I smell roses. They just noticed that there was this correlation between the type of smell and how these women were rating their dreams afterwards. And I mean, it's a small study, but it's kind of compelling, right? Like it makes sense. Like you would think if you're smelling something bad, you might have a worse dream. And if you're smelling something good, you might have a better dream. Like, I don't think that seems like far-fetched.
Yeah, that makes sense.
the only thing that I read to dispute this study was another study that was done fairly recently, and they basically found the opposite to be true. So, like, I don't really know about this whole, like,
Oh.
yeah. So basically, in that study, they found that familiar or, like, preferred sense resulted in more negative dreams, and then, like, unfamiliar or, like, bad sense were correlated with more positive dreams. So the people running that one were like, we just don't think that smells in your environment, like, really affect the, like, emotional tone of your dreams. Personally, I feel like I could go either way on this, because, like, on the one hand, I feel like we would just, like, you can't just make a conclusion based off of, like, 2, maybe 3 studies.
Yeah.
Especially when these studies involve, like, less than 20 people. Like, that's just, I don't know. So, like, I'm tempted to agree.
It only had like 20 people.
Well, the first one with the German women, there was only 15 participants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is, like, kind of a small study. I'm not sure if they only chose women on purpose, but that's, like, a very specific choice to make. So yeah, I'm part of me's like, this one study that's, like, we're not really seeing a correlation here. I'm kind of like, yeah, it is sort of a weirdly specific thing. But on the other hand, it got me thinking about how, like, we've talked about this multiple times, where, like, if you're experiencing pain in real life, you kind of dream about it. Like, dreaming about, you know, your foot being stuck in something because, like, your foot is sore in real life, or, like,
or tangled up in blankets.
Yeah, or, like, you know, dreaming about melting when you have a fever or something. So, I don't know. I feel like it's not like all of our senses just turn off when we go to sleep, and I think it could be possible that if you smelled something very specific while you were sleeping, it could maybe affect your dreams, but it seems like the evidence is not, there's just not a lot of it.
Just a couple studies with a handful of people.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I would love for someone to do more studies. I think it's really interesting, and I have never really, like, thought about that at all. And I don't, besides the fact that I don't really remember smelling anything in my dreams, I don't think I've ever had any experience where, like, I smelled something in real life and it affected my dreams. I know that, like, people talk about, like, waking up to the smell of coffee or whatever, but this was actually specifically addressed in one of the studies, where they were like, it's more likely that you wake up first and then smell coffee, not that the smell of coffee woke you up. It's just, like, a circadian rhythm thing, and that it would probably take a lot for, like, a smell to actually wake you up. Like, it'd have to be, like, really, really,
like, smelling salts, like, or something.
Smelling salts, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That'll wake you up.
Right. But that's, like, a very intense chemical.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious if sound affects dreams at all. I don't want to influence next week's thing, but
yeah,
I'm curious if...
now I'm thinking, like, I should look into that too, but I mean, I'm definitely, like, I feel like I've definitely had sounds bleed into dreams that I've had.
I don't know if I have. Like, I tend to, I don't know if it's, like, a good habit or not, but I tend to, like, listen to music to fall asleep.
Oh.
And sometimes I set it, like, a timer so it stops playing after a while, but I'm curious if it's, yeah.
And I'll try not to make this too much of a tangent, because I have one more dream smell thing to address, but I feel like it is, like, a pretty common trope in, like, TV and movies for, like, someone to be having a dream and then, like, someone's calling their name for them to wake up, and they can start hearing it in their dream before they wake up.
Yeah. Or like in the dream, they're talking to someone and all of a sudden they start calling, map, 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 because the alarm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So I feel like, that's probably a trope because it's a thing that people have experienced, but I think you're right. Maybe worth looking into for next week. But yeah, just to conclude this dream smell saga, I also looked into not necessarily how real life smells affect dreams, but just like if people notice dream smells, smells that are completely fabricated by your brain and that happen in a dream. And I found a couple different studies that found that like generally like there's a small percentage of people who report smelling things in their dreams, and most of those studies found that either to like a greater percent more or even just a little bit more, that women had more remembered more smells in their dreams than men. And I kind of wonder if it has anything to do with like how like apparently women or like biologically female people can like perceive more colors than
I think I've heard that.
Like, have you ever heard that? And like it's cited as like a and I don't know if this is true. This is just, I'm just getting into some weeds here, and this is not what the podcast is about, but I think it's like cited as like having to do with like, oh, like, the hunter gatherers, the women would have to be gathering and foraging and had to have a better way of distinguishing like color and smell and stuff, so they didn't like, they knew what things were poisonous and what things weren't or whatever. I don't know if that's like true or not, but that's always what I've heard. That it's like this very like long standing evolutionary thing. And it just popped into my brain after I read like 2 or 3 different examples of studies finding that like women noticed it more than men. So I don't know. I couldn't really look into it more than that because there's just not a lot of information out there. But I wonder if that is true. If women dream of more smells than men do, I wonder if that's why. If it's like a evolutionary sensory thing. And I will leave you with a very interesting and relevant quote that I found from Helen Keller, who was famously both deaf and blind. And I think this was in response to being asked of what she dreams about. And she is quoted as saying, "In my dreams, I have sensations, odors, tastes, and ideas which I do not remember to have had in reality." So she was definitely smelling stuff in her dreams, which is really cool.
Interesting, yeah.
And I bet you if you did not have the ability to see or hear and primarily experience the world with different senses, I mean, you'd probably notice them way more in your dreams than someone for whom those senses are more of like an auxiliary thing.
Yeah. And
I this is like a big callback, but I feel like in one of our early episodes we talked about like if animals dream, and I remember reading something about how like some scientists thought that like mice or like other animals that don't heavily rely on their eyesight probably dreamed about like sounds and smells. So I don't know, super
that,
cool.
Yeah. Or dogs too, probably.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Dream about finding certain smells more.
Yeah. So I don't know. Got some dream smells. Send us an email about your dream smells. What do your dreams smell like?
What do your dreams smell like?
We want to know about it. I mean, I back on the like, do real life smells affect your dreams thing? I've always had ever since like, I don't know, high school, middle school, I've just always kept a little thing of lavender next to my bed. Because I just have always heard that helps you sleep, and I don't know if if I ever really need help sleeping, but like I really like the smell of lavender, and it's nice to have near me when I'm going to bed. And maybe if it's true that nice smells help you have nice dreams, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could work.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather do that than fall asleep with something next to my bed that's stinky.
Yeah, ew. I have like a citrus glade plug-in thing in my room. I haven't really had any orange centric dreams.
Yeah, I mean, I've never dreamed about lavender, but I think what the studies were pointing towards was because like these people weren't dreaming about rotten eggs or roses. They were just having dreams that were happier or more negative.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
Once we get a big enough fan base, we should start doing our own dream studies.
Yeah.
Be on the cutting edge.
That'd be crazy.
Hey, do you want to get into some submissions?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I am just looking now, and I just realized I put a content warning on the wrong dream.
Oh, okay.
It should be on the one that you're about to read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just and I don't know, maybe this is just my opinion. This dream does not get into any level of detail really. But the idea of what happens in this dream is a little bit gross. So I just wanted to give everybody a warning.
Okay.
It's a little gross, but our dear listener spares us the details, which I am very thankful for, and why I still included it in this episode, because it's also very funny.
I see.
There's a very brief mention of bodily fluids.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with that content warning mentioned, this is a dream from Matt, and Matt writes, "Hello again. After listening to a few more episodes of Dream Team, I couldn't resist the urge to submit another dream. This one may need a bit of context. I am a medical technologist working at a veterinary reference lab. We get specimen samples like blood, serum, urine, etc. that come in sample tubes. You've probably seen them if you have ever had blood drawn. When I had this dream, I was getting overwhelmed with work as I kept getting assigned additional tasks and responsibilities. I dreamt that I was having a typical day at work. I asked a coworker what they wanted me to do with the samples I had. They told me, eat them. I thought they were joking and asked what they really wanted me to do. They told me again, eat them. They were dead serious. So that's what I did. I began popping the samples into my mouth one by one, chewing and swallowing them. Oh no.
Gross.
I don't remember any of the details about how they felt or tasted. Good. I'm glad you
Thankfully.
The dream then ended. I think the dream came from the feeling that in my subconscious I was thinking, they keep asking me to do more and more work. What's next? Will they want me to start eating the samples? Keep the dream alive, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I when I'm reading through all our submissions every week, I usually won't put in anything that goes into any amount of gross or gory detail, but that one was just so funny to me and just perfectly bizarre.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can imagine having a dream like that where you're just having a normal work day and then somebody just says something so offhandedly weird to you and you're just like, what? Sorry, what? Eat them.
Eat them.
Ugh, so good. I'm glad that you don't remember what it was like to eat them.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Your brain saved you on that one, Matt. Believe me.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. I have one from Mason. And this one's kind of unique too. This is our first listener who has mentioned using a sleep sleep recording app. Have you ever used one of those?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm too scared.
Oh, okay, wait. No, that's interesting. Why are you scared?
I don't know. I'm scared to hear what I say in my sleep, or if I hear anything freaky in my sleep.
Oh,
Because like, I feel like
I can understand that.
I've seen like videos, and I know it's probably not like real or whatever, but I've seen like ghost video compilations, and it'll be like, this was recorded from a sleep app or whatever, and it's like a weird second voice in someone's room. It's like,
So
oh, that freaks me
you're
out.
not even. It's not necessarily about you doing something weird. It's if there's something else.
Yeah, I guess so.
I didn't even think of that. That is scary. I now I don't know
Sorry,
about if I would use one.
Yeah.
I've never used
maybe
one
I would.
either.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm that scared of that, but I don't know.
I think there is something kind of uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't need to know. I've always been told by other people that I'm a very quiet sleeper and I don't snore or say anything, and I would like to believe that they're telling me the truth. So,
Heck yeah.
we'll keep it at that.
I'm a snorer.
Well, Mason had some interesting revelations with their app after this very interesting dream.
Cool.
And they write, "Hey Dream Team, just finished binging your wonderful podcast.
Ooh.
Now I'm up to date, and I thought I'd send in a dream. I wasn't a character in this dream, rather a spectator. There was a giant theater full of kids, restless for a show to begin. Soon an orchestra began to play, starting out with a classic song from Mario, before switching to an original composition with vocals. I thought it was one of the most beautiful songs I had ever heard, although I didn't remember it when I woke up. Once the song was over, the kids turned around and saw a glowing green light, signifying that it was their turn to go onto stage. As the kids sprinted to the stage, my view switched to some producers off towards the side. Somehow I knew that one of them was the greatest composer of our time. I watched as they expressed their dissatisfaction with the fact that McDonald's was sponsoring the show, and that's the last thing I remember. Side note, I have an app that records my sleep talking, and it kind of sounded like I was singing.
Oh.
Thought I would mention because it was funny. Anyway, thanks for the pod."
Cool.
I think that's so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. Just like the connection of like dreaming about beautiful music and like you're like singing along to it. I don't know. That just seems really sweet to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your brain's like, I need to sing the music too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I obviously I don't know exactly what it sounded like, and maybe it wasn't, as sort of romanticized as I'm making it in my head, but I really like the idea of like that sort of like brain body connection. I would love to hear if anybody else listening has had interesting experiences with sleep recording apps.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have any dreams that you remember, I would love to hear about your experience using those apps, because I personally have never used them, and
Same.
they've always kind of interested me, and yeah, I would just love to hear if you've had any revelations after waking up and hearing what your body was doing while you were sleeping.
I'm almost tempted to try one.
I feel hesitant. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm worried about like being embarrassed or like now that you mentioned the ghost thing, I think I wouldn't want to hear anything creepy.
Yeah. Or what if you looked at it in the morning and it was like you snored 700 times in your sleep.
Oh no.
And it's just like the whole night you were like loud snoring.
Oh, that would be I mean, I guess I wouldn't be terribly upset, but I would probably want to talk to my doctor about like sleep apnea or something.
Yeah. I always feel bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes my roommates mention they hear me snore and I'm like, oh shoot.
Oh no. Yeah, I've never heard that from anybody, so I hope that means my roommates are telling me the truth, but
I was busy sleeping. That's why I was snoring.
My not to well, I just won't identify them, but I know multiple people in my life who are big sleep talkers
Mm.
and also sleepwalkers. We'll have to that'll be some future dream fact material. We haven't
Oh,
really
yeah.
touched on sleep talking and sleepwalking, so
Yeah.
that is a whole iceberg of info
Mm-hmm.
that I'm sure we'll get into later this year.
Yeah, we should. We should. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know a handful of people who've slept talk, college roommates and stuff.
Yeah. If you have any because I know it's a lot to ask your average Joe if they've remembered any of their dreams recently. But a lot of people have a sleep talking story or a sleepwalking story. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to do like a special episode in the future. And if you have any sleep talking or sleepwalking stories, even if they're not about you, send them in. We might include them in a future episode.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't remember what you were dreaming about, something was going on in that brain.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much, Mason. We've got one more
Mason.
submission from Brian, if you want to read it.
Yeah, of course.
It's short and sweet and almost written like some kind of prose.
Awesome. So Brian writes, "Hi team. This doesn't make a lot of sense. I had a dream where I was Homer Simpson, but not Homer Simpson. I built a structure in the school playground for my son to not have any excuses for missing the bus to school. The same night, he and a friend were mysteriously put into suspended animation, as well as another structure in the playground. The authorities got involved, and I was in the process of wanting to sue the school over this. I decided to investigate the other structure and found out it was built by a political party. So now I was going to go after all politicians for their shady dealings. Thanks. Brian." That's awesome.
Yeah. It becomes completely irrelevant for the rest of the dream, but just I was Homer Simpson, but not Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just like in the dream, you just know that to be true and you can't explain it, you know? But it's just like, I was me, but I wasn't me, but I was in my house, but it wasn't my house.
Yep.
And everything was just the way that it was.
It was my house, but with a Walmart attached to it.
Yeah. It's just so
Yeah.
so wonderfully bizarre, and the weird political authority, like strange things going on. It's like it's slightly unsettling, but just so bizarre that it's kind of funny.
I'm curious what kind of structure you would build to make your son not miss the bus.
I
don't know what that means.
Is the implication
Like, is it a catapult?
So the implication here is looking like my son not to have any excuses for missing the bus to school. So I'm thinking like, what if it was like a tunnel from Brian's house to the playground?
Yeah.
That would be my first guess, but I mean, it's a dream. It could have been anything.
Or a catapult.
Teleportation device.
Oh, yeah, it might just be that.
Yeah.
The structure.
Who knows? Anything can happen in a dream.
Yeah.
But thank you, Ryan,
yeah.
and thank you everybody who submitted.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone.
We've been getting a lot of really good submissions lately. I'm still going through some. So if you sent something in and you haven't heard it on the podcast yet, I probably just haven't gotten to it. But
yeah,
I love reading your guys' submissions. Please send us your dreams. You can send them to our dream mail.
Our dream mail.
Which is dreamteampodcastsubmissions@gmail.com. And if you don't have a dream to send us, you can always send us questions or ideas for dream facts, things you're curious about, things you want to know more about, maybe any sort of dream-related myths or rumors or urban legends that you might have heard of, or tropes. We're happy to hear from any of you about anything, really. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Or if you could also give us a little follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
We got a little Instagram page with we got just over 100 followers now, which is awesome. And that is Dream Team with Alice and Trent.
And you can DM us on there too.
Yeah, if it's easier to send a message there than to email one, you can feel free to send it there.
Yeah. Yeah, we post images. If people send in drawings or any sort of relevant images from the episode, we'll post on there every time one is released, and also post links to our YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for easy access. And yeah, depending on which is your preferred platform, we would love if you interacted and engaged, leaving a comment or a like or a review or a rating or a subscribe or a follow or a
comment.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps us reach more people and helps us know if we're doing a good job. So yeah, check us out on any or all of those platforms.
Yeah.
I also got an email from one of our listeners this week asking about us plugging various things in our lives that aren't related to the podcast, which I feel bad because I totally would have plugged the show that I recently performed at this past Saturday, except that it's over now. I feel like I perform or participate in public art shows rarely enough that it doesn't really occur to me to mention it on the podcast. But yeah, this person just said they liked hearing about it and other stuff that was going on in our lives that they were possibly able to check out. So I'll try to remember that. If either Trent or I are doing anything event related in the world,
yeah,
we'll let you know. Or if we have any other cool projects coming up or anything like that you guys can check out.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
If we're plugging stuff, I don't really have much to plug right now.
Yeah, but I mean in the future, something we can keep in mind.
Yeah.
Go to Trent's YouTube channel.
Yes, my YouTube
and watch
channel.
All his videos.
Trent Lenkarski YouTube channel. That's probably where you're finding this from. So
go to my YouTube channel. Watch my 2 videos.
Alice Langloy's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna plug having a good sleep.
Yeah. Get some good sleep.
That's something I'm gonna get up to.
Yeah, I gotta get in pajamas and go to bed soon.
Yeah.
Sleepy.
I hope that all of you guys are in your pajamas or otherwise cozy, and that you have a good sleep and some very lovely and perhaps pleasantly scented dreams.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a good sleep.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm starting to smell mushrooms.
No.
No.
Wait, no.
Oh, it smells like cream of mushroom soup.
No. It's just a dream.
They're coming to take over the Trent. They're coming to take over the world. I can smell them in my dreams.
I have to end the podcast just so it doesn't
No.
end. So it doesn't stop. No.